Yes, thank you.
Great.
Perfect. So good morning, everyone. My name is Tim Kahn. I'm the CTO of SK Global Software, one of the original founders of the company as well. I appreciate the fact you purchased our solution and other aspects of the solution. I'm glad to present our customer portal and payment mechanism for you today. You should be able to see a screen now. It's kind of gray, and then some buttons at the top. Can everyone see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. So I've got kind of just a graphical overview of how the whole thing works. Of course, then we'll go and take a look at the solution in action. So we'll start out here. First, the cloud here, Dynamics 365, represents your production environment in Dynamics 365. In there, your invoices are posted. So whether they are whether they're sales order invoices, free text invoices, or project invoices, we treat them all the same. So as soon as they're posted, then what happens is they're sent automatically out to this portal. This is an Azure environment. Your website can be anywhere you'd like it to be. It can be in Azure, it can be Amazon Web Service, it could be on-premise, it could be anywhere you'd like to have this other customer portal. As soon as the invoices are posted, automatically they are pushed out and available on the portal. At the same time, an email is sent out to your customers notifying them that invoices have arrived at the portal. Actually, you can,
we have the email. Got it. I like that already.
And you can have an invoice attached to the email as an option as well. So as they get the email, they would get the invoice attached, but also it's on the portal as well. So when they lose the email, which we know they will do, they can always go back to the portal and find their invoice. Another automated piece of it is when the customer signs up originally with you, and we'll go through this, they will get an email notifying them of the portal, how to get to the portal. It's all self-serve. So they can create their own password and going forward. Okay, so I see about the R3. So this will work exactly the same way, whether it's Dynamics 365 or AX2012. It'll work exactly the same way. So sorry about if there's any confusion about this piece. Just know when you're...
Somebody cleaned that up for you, I guess. We're looking at each other on this side.
John was giving me the look that he was going to wait until he had a moment.
Yeah, I was.
I wasn't psychic. Sandra actually informed me of that.
Good.
Yeah. But it's good to know eventually, maybe when you get to Dynamics 365, we'll be there for you as well. In any case, most of our solutions, virtually all of our solutions are available on both platforms. So it appears on the portal. At the same time, now there's this other component called PayFabric. PayFabric is a PCI compliant site that sits in the Amazon Web Cloud. This is where your credit card and or ACH information is stored. And the big thing to note here is that you have a database that you manage your AX2012. There's a database and a website that manages your portal, but this is completely isolated and separate. So the reason I bring that up is because when you get reviewed for PCI compliance, one of the big things is where do you store your credit cards? Who has ownership of that database? And it's not under your control. It's managed here by a PCI compliant site that has been vetted by Visa and MasterCard on an annual basis for the quality of that security. Okay. So that's where that's all stored. So this is where their wallet is stored. Then the next thing that happens is the customer accesses their wallet on the portal and makes the payment against their invoices. We'll talk in more detail about how that works in terms of timing and all of that.
You need to unlock your iPhone first.
Oh boy, I don't know what that's about. So then as the payment comes in, the payment goes out to a gateway. These are the different gateways that are supported, where your merchant account would be established. Those gateways then will approve the payment as they make the selection. They'll go out to the bank to see if there's enough credit on the customer's account. We'll verify that and then deduct the money from the customer's account in terms of the credit. At the same time as that real-time approval occurs, automatically the payments come back into AX. a payment journal is created, and those invoices that were out here that they decide to pay are completely settled. Again, all this activity occurs, your AR department's sitting there having lunch while all this is going on. It's a no-touch solution end-to-end going forward. Okay? Any questions on kind of the structure, how a flow works?
So back to the auto payments then. So it's just kind of real time at the transactional level? Is that what's going on?
Yes. So as soon as you will see that as soon as the customer on the portal clicks a button to say, I want to pay these 3 invoices, in real time, this activity over here to the right all occurs in real time, and they're notified if it's approved or rejected. And of course, if it's approved, then the payments come back into AX. If it's rejected, then of course we don't make the payments and then update AX.
Got it. Okay.
Right.
Is there a record? Hi, this is Janetta. Is there a record of credit cards that are denied customer payments? If they try to make a payment and the credit card is declined?
Yes, there'll be a record of it. Actually, PayFabric does have an interface that you can get to as well to see all transactions. The portal itself has a series of reports that will show activity in terms of payments as well. So you'll be able to see the history of that as well. Okay. Let's jump over and take a look at the solution. So here's 2012. This should look somewhat familiar. Make it a little smaller here. So our solution resides. You've seen our solution, correct? I know you purchased it. I don't know how far you are along in the implementation phase.
Yeah, not far enough.
Not far enough. Okay.
I mean, we're not that familiar. Some of us are familiar with this, but we haven't been in there.
So in fact, the ePay portion has a very minimal footprint in our solution. It starts out basically over an accounts receivable. And first off, the decision on what customers will be ePay customers are up to you, of course. I'm going to go into a particular customer and go to edit. At the individual customer level, you can designate a customer as an ePay customer. So it's here under the payment defaults. ePay customer is a field that was added as part of this. And so you can one by one determine who are your ePay customers. Or you can set a filter at the system level that says everyone that's got credit card terms, everyone that's in Group A, Group B, Group C, or whatever kind of inquiry criterion you'd like to use, and that would automatically make them ePay customers. And then of course if you put someone in a group, say you select 300 that are ePay customers, but one of them you don't want to, you can say no and override it. So you can cherry pick exactly how you want your customers to be ePay customers. Okay? And when that occurs, when they become an ePay customer, they are then sent an email automatically and notifies them. You can control what the look of that email is. We'll show when we get to the portal how you maintain that. But you can control what that looks like, inviting them to come to the portal, get their password, log in, and begin to use the portal. So that's where the process starts. Okay, so let's go to account receivable. Like I mentioned, you can do different types of invoices: sales order invoices, project invoices, or free text. I'm just going to do a free text invoice. It's fairly simple to do here. But note that the only thing you need to note, as soon as the invoice is posted, whatever type it is, then the action of going to the portal occurs. So I'll come in here, create an invoice.
Hey John, is this live time or do you have to press the button to send it over?
Yeah, this is Tim, but this is all, yeah, no problem. This is all just in real time. From a user standpoint, your AR people wouldn't even have to know that ePay was set up. They just do their normal business, and in the background, as part of the posting, it automatically goes over to the portal. So there's no, better get an account here.
The only accounts that we put as e-customers would actually push their transactions over. What is Is that right? Sorry, John, I was kind of thinking through everything you were just talking about. So when you set them up as an e-customer, is that the trigger to actually communicate to these applications? And if all of a sudden we decide we want to add someone in there, is it prospective or will it retro any AR that's outstanding if we all of a sudden get a client to transition?
Yeah, good question. So as soon as you invoke a customer and they become a portal user, all open invoices will automatically appear. We don't go and get every history of every invoice, but just the open invoices and the unapplied payments will appear on the portal. We'll see. Yep. So that they have a statement of their open account.
Awesome.
Okay.
Does the customer have the ability to set up automatic credit card payments without the customer having to go in to process a credit card?
Another great question. Yep, there's a feature called auto pay. So even though you don't have to do any work, they can end up not doing any work. They can just set it for auto pay, and as the invoices arrive, they can set up a schedule of when they want them to pay, and that can occur automatically on their side as well. Much like, you know, your mortgage payment or something like that. Yeah. Okay, so let's go over to the portal and see what happened. So the portal is a website. What you're seeing here is the login page. This is completely customizable. Of course, you'd want your logo, all of the colors, the graphics, the images. You can put messages on here, you know, special is going on, or be sure to call us about upcoming product releases or whatever. That's completely maintainable. It's a CSS customizable website, so you have control over all the pages, and you can configure that and set up standard templates as well. So here we have the username for that same customer, and I'm going to then log in. And immediately what happens is you get to see all their outstanding invoices. So the invoice that we had was $150, and it looks like we've got it here. Yeah, I did another one earlier. It's in different order, but that one appeared on the portal. So the way it appears on the portal is it goes into a queue, and we have an AX batch job. If that's a term you may get used to if you haven't heard of it yet. But that's a separate system in AX that can monitor things and do things automatically. And so it then in the background found this queue record and sent it to the portal. I have it set for every minute. You could set it for anything you like on a periodic basis, every 5 minutes. But that's the kind of timing of when the invoices would appear on the portal. Okay. So I'm on here, I can check this, I'm the customer now, remember, and so I can check to pay it in full. I could do a partial payment. I can come in here and pay $100 of it, whatever I want. If you've got a customer that's one of your Gold Star customers, they would select all and pay all of their invoices. You know, wouldn't we wish that that would be everyone? And then we're going to clear out the selected items. I'm just going to click to pay that one. So that's one thing we can do. And someone probably is thinking, well, can they make a prepayment? Yes, they can. They could come in here and say, I want to send you money because you're great. And then they can put another $50 on it, whatever they want to pay. Nope. So now they're lined up to do the payment. They click pay. So I guess there's a maximum length on this. And then we go ahead.
I guess so.
I guess it's still just because.
Tim, this is Levi. Is there a way that we can control whether we allow the customer to make that partial payment or not? Because that's not something that we generally accept as far as payment.
Right. I would check on that. And certainly, if not, it's easy to customize to turn off that option of partial payment. They're just saying that checkbox. Yeah.
I guess at the end of the day, right, if customers are paying electronically or they're sending a physical check, getting some payment versus zero is what they do today, right? Because if they short pay us on a check, we don't have the ability to triage that before they make the payment. So would we want to be that restrictive, or would we want to give them the ability to, if they want to send some money, we'll take their money? I'm thinking about it from kind of the perspective of the volume and what we for those
So
customers
you've
that
got,
are paying
got
by
better
check.
visibility, better traceability.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I would take whatever they're willing to pay, and then you can then triage and start payments later. It's no different than them sending us a check in the lockbox. You know, because if you limit that, then the most likely, and you know, you can decide what you want with Levi, but then, you know, then it's like triaging settlement on the account. So do you want the money now and then clear out the balance through the credit ticketing system, or wait to do the credit and then get payment a month later? You still have the ability to reduce your DDO by taking some payment.
Mhm.
Okay?
Tim, will the AR balance where the customer goes to check off the invoices that they want to pay, will that screen reflect if the account have overpayments and our credits?
Yeah, so the screen reflects the open balance on that invoice. There's a payment screen that will show credits. And right now, if you need to apply a credit, you need to do that in AX, and then the balance on the invoice would show. So the customer cannot, there is a screen to do it. It's not, we don't have it set up for AX, where you could apply, the customer could apply their credits against their invoices. So right now, it's the invoice balance, whatever you've done in AX will appear, and if they have credits, they would need to manage that with you. Okay? So we're here. Yeah, you need discussion? I'll pause.
Is that an issue, Jeanette? I mean, I think it makes sense that customers wouldn't apply credit to their own account, right? That
Well,
you
if
guys
they
don't
have
do that.
credits, if they have credits and or overpayment, I mean, we would want them, if it's on their account, we would want them to utilize it and have the ability to do that. Because what we run into now is they have to short pay, they have to pay the invoice in full, and then we have to refund them. That's the current state. So the customer is saying, why would I pay you $200 when I have a $100 credit?
Right.
So that's what we run into that right now, when they know that they have credits on their account.
Right. And I think Tim said that it would show, it would display. So that first screen where you showed the invoices, that's the invoice balance, not what the invoice was.
That's correct.
Right.
That's the balance due.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So they would see.
This is great, right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
So far?
Yeah.
Okay. So now they, on this screen, they're ready to make the payment, and then they can choose from their wallet. And another a beauty of the system is that, as I mentioned, remember the wallet is not stored. This has a database that's under your control, this website. But the actual credit card is stored, again, in Amazon Web Cloud, as you saw. They can maintain it, though. They can go here, go to their wallet. In this screen, it comes up. It's going to look a little differently. Actually, this is going out to the Amazon Web Cloud. It's not going to your AX database. It's not going to your portal database. It's going to the Web Cloud. So they're maintaining it. And because they are maintaining the credit card information, your employees are not, and because it's stored off-site, not under your control, your PCI compliance is vastly simplified. You just fill out a questionnaire and maybe have a scanning operation that's done once or twice a year, and you're going to get PCI compliant because of the fact that the credit cards are stored off-site and they're maintaining them. So here they can maintain their credit card at any time. They can maintain any type of credit cards that you decide to organize with the gateway when you set the system up. E-check is basically a direct debit with ACH. So if they want to pay through ACH debit, they can do that as well, transit routing and account number.
Perfect.
And so they just check this off. They enter the security code. They can pay now, or they can pay later. If they pay later and they say set it up for Friday at midnight on Friday, this will be processed automatically. So if they don't have the money, or they want to, they want to get it in here and deal with it, and then they go on vacation, they could set it for next week, and then they hit submit. So what this is doing is going out, like I showed on the other chart, out to the gateway. It's come back, and it says it's been approved. It's got an authorization number, etc. Remaining a credit $50. I'm not sure. Oh, that was probably for the prepaid. So that's what they do from their end. At that point, they also get an email that notifies them of this. And again, we can show you can configure what that email says, but they'll get notified of it. So at the same time that that happened, coming back in the Treasury Automation Suite, this ePay queue is what I mentioned to you before. This is the small footprint we have in here. This actually monitors both the inbound and outbound transactions. So you don't have to go to this screen. It's just here for convenience. And it looks like this one hasn't quite come back yet in terms from ePay, so we'll toggle it here. So this was sent to ePay, so we should be getting something coming back. So every minute, again, it's going to go out and monitor the website. And when it comes back, then we'll have that activity. So here it came. The payment came back from ePay. We have an historical record here. We can see the amount. We can see the payment journal number. And this is a standard AX payment journal. I can click this button and go to the journal, or just to show, I can go over to AR and just look at your payment journals. And we'll sort by journal number here. So this is the journal that was just created, this 950. We go into lines. Here's the $200. Here's the description that came through. If we drill down to functions and go to settlement, we don't want to remove the marked transactions. We come down here to that line, and we see the $150 payment that was made. So the whole process of the settlement of the payment is there, and the other amount remains on account, the other $50 that was the prepay. I forget, not the payment fee, I think there's a prepay piece here. There's a, forget on the prepay, there's a posting, journal posting rule on prepayments, if I remember. Apologize, some others on the call may remember, may understand that. But anyway, the payment came in, the prepayment was there. We add this piece, this ePay payment number. This ties back to that number that you'd also find on the portal. So you have a tie back from here, and also the method of payments you set up, and you map those. We'll talk about that. You can map those to the method of payment on the portal. So all your Visa payments can come in. Can be valuable in terms of reconciliation back over when you get your bank statement reconciliation from the bank for all your Visa payments.
Tim, when payments route back to the bank after the credit card's been approved and processed, are they reported back into our lockbox, single flow or batch, total by the day?
I don't know if they'll go there, will they?
Yeah, it would likely go to your bank statement. You'd see the deposit on the bank statement, and then the bank statement could be reconciled against these AR journals in terms of these payments that have come in as well.
Yeah, so let me pause for a minute because I know what the team is asking.
Okay.
Given our volume, right? So I'm just thinking out loud. You know, this is an automated routine. It's almost like a single piece flow posting transaction. Which is fine if it doesn't create any human intervention. There's no issue with that, right? We just have more posting journals. Where I see, but we do have huge volume. So the current kind of, the current process today, just so everyone kind of understand, as we think we have a vision for future, is things are kind of, done more in batch. And so a lot of our volume of payments currently are going through our lockbox, so because most of our customers still actually, believe it or not, pay via check. And so we leverage the lockbox to kind of automate the payment routines by just importing a file from the bank into the ERP today. So that, that's still, we'll have that still for lockbox. And then from a bank statement standpoint, there's a daily reconciliation that's being done by the team who manages the posting process, or just kind of the lockbox import and just posting of those adjustments, because every now and then they're going to have to triage issues, errors, and it's not always perfectly imported in. We just have sometimes customers will pay things and we can't find the invoice or the account. So they work through that, and then they do like a daily reconciliation with actually their bank statements daily. So the difference here, and this is actually, posting real time once you get a payment registered with the credit card system, is the right way to do it. What would normally happen, though, is you'll have a deposit in transit at the end of the month that's cut off on the bank statement if it's, if you posted the payment in receivables, but you guys get the benefit of it, so it's fine from an AR standpoint. But we'll have to figure out how the team will manage the bank reconciliation process so that it's not like very mundane for them to go through hundreds, if not thousands, of payment transactions, because that's not efficient either. So we'll have to think about that and understand how bank rec works so we can leverage an automated bank rec tool. And hopefully we will. I think we will. So we'll kind of learn more about it and then figure out how we might change our process within the AR desk.
Okay, so let's go back to the portal.
Good question, though.
Take a look here. So let's go back to the menu here. So again, we went to the account summary. Let me refresh this because that invoice. Now that invoice you can see has gone away. That $150 that was there has gone away because it's been paid. There's another option here, different kind of invoices. You can see paid transactions. You can see here the paid transaction here, the 150 was paid, so there's that option. You can sort by transaction date, transaction number, different ranges, so you can see paid transactions. You can see outstanding invoices. That's what we saw. Each customer can set up their home page to what do they see first when they come in, either invoices to be paid or not. The payment history, you can see that. You can see the payments that were made. There's a $200 payment made, and then this drills in and it'll show you that authorization screen. They can see that as well. All the invoices as well. Remember we said the invoices came out to the website. I didn't show that very well the first time, but if we come here and go to the invoices, standing invoices, if you click on the invoice itself, the invoices are pushed over from AX. So any invoice that you've created, an SRS report that has the invoice, as it gets posted, gets available out here on the portal as well. So they can then, of course, print this off or do whatever they want with it. But then this is the part where there's a continual history of all the invoices out on the portal for them to review, etc. They can come out here and look at their wallet, manage their wallet at any time. Independently of making a payment, so that's just a management process. They can manage additional logins, so you can have multiple people for one company. They can set up additional logins that are available to go and do this process as well. Okay, so there's a question about recurring payments, auto payments. This is what the auto payment piece was. You create an entry and you say, I want to create a fixed amount. I want it based on the due date or based on all outstanding invoices, different setup options to determine when you want the auto pay to occur. And like I said, it can take, I think it's by invoice, I forget, I think, or all outstanding invoices, and it will go and get them, and as that date, like that Friday or some kind of period, it would go and then process and automatically make the payment against the default wallet item. So there's a wallet ID where they say, I want to go against a credit card or direct debit, whichever way you want to do it. And once you set that up, then you can come in here and they can see the scheduled payments. These would be payments that are scheduled to be made. This also could be those that where they said, I want to pay them like next Friday, that kind of thing. We said pay now or pay at another date. So these are the options that they have in terms of their setup. Okay.
Tim, can you go to wallet?
Yeah.
Does the system notify the customer ahead of time before their credit card expires?
Yes. There's an automatic notification that goes out. We'll let them know that their account's expiring. I don't know why this is delayed at the moment.
Does that link back into the tool so it's easy for them to self-serve?
You mean they would get a link back to their portal and then would come back and update the wallet, right?
Okay, good.
Yeah. So actually this happened to me. Yeah.
Yeah, the email notifying that their credit card is going to expire has the link back to the portal.
Perfect.
Right, Tim? That's what
Yeah.
you're saying?
I'll go through and show the emails as well. Yeah.
And how far in advance does it notify them of their credit, prior to their credit card expiring? 30 days?
I think it's 30 days. I would have to check. I'm sorry, I don't have that at my fingertips. Yep. Yep. So let me log out as the customer.
Can I ask one more question about this? And Jenna, correct me if I'm speaking out of context. This is great because we want eventually to get customers to do their own work. But a lot of times you and client services, we have a lot of customers that just don't want to do anything, but they're willing to make a payment over the phone via a credit card. So, so this is the self-serve kind of visual, but what if we have other customers that we're on the phone with that, we get them to agree to do this and then they want to actually do all that over the phone? Can the group also have access to do the setup on behalf of the account for the first initiation of self-serve and or auto pay? Or is it only, designed to really kind of be PCI compliant at the customer level?
Yeah, so great question. I was just about to get to that point. So there are three types of users that can come to the portal. One is we just saw the customer. The next is what I'm going to talk is a CSR, customer service representative. That's one of your employees. And the third type is admin, which I'll get to in a minute as well. So I'm going to come in here and log in as a CSR. A CSR is someone that kind of manages other people's accounts, some of your customer accounts. So you can have a CSR that can see everybody's account, or you could have CSRs that are specific to a specific group of accounts. So this CSR can see every single account, and now what this CSR can do, it can come in, and now they're pretending to be customer 3. So this CSR now can act on behalf of this particular customer. So going even further, what can happen is that now that I'm in here and I go to wallet, you can tie it down that the CSR can select a wallet item and pay on their behalf, which would keep your PCI compliance intact, or you can open it up so that they could maintain their wallet. And that now, because your employees are maintaining credit card numbers, the PCI compliance, you're going to get reviewed for how do you control those employees.
Storing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, got it. Okay, perfect. That's what we need. We're going to need that flexibility for the type of customers that we're dealing with, both. But then you get away from having to put it anywhere in our system or write it down.
The storage is, again, PCI compliant offsite. So the credit card itself is never stored under your control. Okay.
Perfect.
So is this the preferred way? Because I know the collections team would be able to access AX from the back end or whatever, their interface to do that. Is it preferred that the CSRs use this interface as well?
I think so, right? Or meaning we want to give them the flexibility to help self-serve, but we want the controls in place so that, if they're on the phone, they're typing in the card number, they can do that on behalf of the account. Customers willing to pay, but then we don't store it anywhere. We're not sharing it by email, and it's not going into our system, so we're still, kind of compliant from that standpoint. Because I think that's probably more of the population is doing that today, right, guys?
Absolutely.
They're not used to self-serving, but but once we get this up and running, we'll start migrating them to do their own kind of payment. Yeah.
I didn't know if there was, benefits for the internal folks to use, something other than.
Oh, you mean other than this tool?
Yeah, they use the traditional, the AX interface or the CRM interface to do that, or is it better, more bells and whistles on one or the other?
Got it. So the question is more, okay, I get it now. So is this their user interface, or that's a good point? Is customer service going to have to log out of what they're doing to go in here to self-serve, or is there going to be a connection with CRM so that it's easy for them to do this? That's a good question.
Is that directed at me or someone else?
Yeah, that's to you too. Yeah. Or to Joey.
That's a great question.
Again, this is a website that doesn't have to have anything to do with being around near AX, CRM, or anything else. It's just a public website, right? So
they have another screen open on their workstation to be able to accept credit card payments. It's
Give them a
not
link to the
directly,
website on their CRM.
or you on CRM, you ask them to put a hyperlink that will go to decide if they want to do it, open up another window.
Yeah, and I think that portal and sort of the design around all of that is still being worked out, John and Erica. So I think the main thing being is just seeing the functionality for the SK Global Payment and invoices functionality, and then we'll work out the design about, you know, which screens and which interface and everything the users would actually be entering this detail into.
All right.
Okay. So we're going to log out. So I remember I said there was a third type of user, and that's the admin user. And this is where whoever is designated as the admin or multiple people that are admins, where you set up all the configuration pieces. Just touch on them briefly. Of course, set up your name. This is information that connects to the Pay Fabric. We have to have a connection back to Pay Fabric for the portal, and then we also have to have a connection to AX. So this is kind of the technical stuff that's set up here. Different themes. You can pick different CSS themes. Probably you're going to want to generate your own. Actually, we're about to install version 6, which has a little bit more modern theme. But again, all of it's very, very customizable for you. The email setup, you know, what's your email server? How's that all working? Payment schedules, reprocess a payment. You know, if it fails when you reprocess it, scheduling interval. Reduce scheduled payment amount for overpayment. That's an option. So yeah, so if they have less money, and I have to check on this. Let me check to see what this says here. So if the balance, this is like if the balance is changed between the time it displays on the portal. However, again, when you set up that queue, as I showed you, depending on the time interval, if you apply a credit, in my case, within a minute, that would be the value that would appear on the portal. So, you know, it would be reduced very, very quickly. Okay. Landing page, where's the default landing page? Where are you going to put that? There are different settings here. There's the feature settings. Allow a partial payment. That was the one that was asked right here. Allow a prepayment, allow pay later, allow term discount. Customer wallet, different options here. Past due. This is they can get a reminder when their invoices are past due. I said it automatically be reminded when, you know, if it's going to be past due.
Wow.
Grid column options, security. There's a lot of security in terms of your password policy, password rules and restrictions, username rules and restrictions. You want to tie it down to minimum, maximum, start with a letter, special characters, if that's an issue.
Hey Tim, this is Ainsley.
PDF.
I had a question. The term discounts, is that something you set up per customer, or is it just across the board you're allowed to do a term discount? Not sure
what you were asking.
Didn't you show a feature where you can set up term discounts?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. That's what I wanted to know.
Yep. Okay, so the invoice.
Yeah. Tim, we got a question on the terms.
On
Yes.
the terms, Tim, if a customer is set up the discount terms, when they look at their invoices, when the list of open AR is displayed, does it break the discount out for the customer? Does it show the original invoice amount, discount amount, and then balance if it's paid within a certain time period?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm gonna note that down, and I will get it back to you. I just want to make sure I get the accurate answer. Whether if that date passes, so it should show up at $95 until the term discount expires, then it show $100 the next day. And if they pay within that time frame, they would be able to pay the $95. That's the question, right?
Correct. And if it's beyond the term, does it take the discount away automatically?
Right. Yeah. I will need to get back to you on that. I apologize. I don't know that answer right at hand.
Thank you.
Very, very good question, though. So here's where you set up where the PDFs are stored and that kind of thing. It's more of a technical. In terms of recurring billings, there's a recurring billings things, but this is for the auto pay feature. So it tells, based on the invoice due date, only process there's an outstanding balance for a fixed amount, different options surrounding how you do the auto pay.
Oh, great.
Great.
The
It's
different
that instant payments too, so then you don't even have to do manual payment on that. That's great.
It's where you can manage the users, all the users. You can come in and see your administrators, see your CSRs, reset their passwords, whether this CSR can see all customers or only the ones that they're allocated for. It's based on the salesperson code in AX. You can decide to do that, or you can set it to see all customers. Here are your customers. That gives a list of the customers. You can search for them, unregister them if someone's got bad behavior or whatever, reset their password for them. There's an automatic, forgot your password. I don't know if you saw it on the first screen, but they should be able to maintain their passwords on their own, so that should not be an issue. You can register a new customer here, but if you put them in AX and record them as an ePay customer, that will happen automatically. Here you can see
Say that again, Tim. You said if, because it kind of broke up a little bit.
And record, and you set the flag on as an eBay customer, automatic.
It comes automatic comes through. Okay.
So that would happen automatically. The queues, the document queue shows all the documents that have been submitted, different statuses. The payment queue as well. So documents are those incoming documents and outgoing documents. Reports, all kinds of reports showing you all the activity, different status of the events, and whether it's a status whether it's declined or accepted. That would be there. That was a question someone asked. The auto pay, here are all your auto pay contracts. It shows all the folks that have signed up for the auto pay feature. You can see that here. Outstanding invoices report. These are all invoices across the board. You can go and you can send it. I hadn't seen this. You can send an email to an individual about their outstanding invoice. You can send an email to them to let them know if there's some question about it. This is where you manage all the email templates. So the new user welcome, we talked about that. Here it has the new username, tells the username, and you put in the URL of the portal. So it tells you what kind of variables you can put into the email. So you have control over all these templates of how you set them. A new customer import, a reset password, a confirmation, a reset password, past due invoice reminder. You can configure what that says like in terms of that. I know there's a question on the 30 days. And we had that set up. We have a calendar that's set up in order to determine the number of days for that. The documentation is accessible from here, and then also over here on the checklist. Click on it. This actually walks through it in terms of setting it up, and it walks through what you need to do screen by screen, the different things you need to set up, so you can check them off to see what part of that you've got done, so the whole implementation is smoothed over. So that's a quick whirlwind through the kind of admin area, and then again the different logins here. So I think that covers the main features I want to check on. There is another product that's finishing development that's available for collections as well, and what it's called PayLink. And so, of course, this is customer management here. Customers doing it themselves or CSR. But there's another option where if you're sitting on an invoice and a customer's in AX, you can and you're on the phone with them. And maybe they're not using the portal or whatever, you just click a button and they say, yeah, I can pay, but I'm not. How can I go and send you a check tomorrow? And you could just say, well, would you be willing to pay by credit card? So if a screen comes up, you basically pop in the text number or their phone number or their email, and it basically sends them a text or an email, and they click on a link. And then they basically get the same screens you saw here for that one invoice or multiple invoices. And so then they just click it. If they have a wallet, they can reference the wallet, or they can enter their data and as soon as they click that button, it comes back and does the auto settle in AX as well. So it's like a one-off mechanism. It's called PayLink. We don't have it quite finished yet, but it should be done, I would say, in the next 3 to 4 months. So that's called PayLink. This is ePay. Okay, so you can see we've got some of it here, the PayLink queue, but we've got the ePay queue. So that's what I wanted to cover. Any other questions, thoughts?
I think it's pretty straightforward in terms of the solution.
Yeah, why don't you, Mariana, I'll suggest if you guys go back and sort of mull it over internally. We can touch base when Kel and I are on site next week and just sort of get your initial feedback, and we can go from there and report back to SK Global. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
When this wraps up, it'll take about 30 minutes, and then I'll have a recording link for you, and I'll send that out to the TriBridge team, and they'll have it for you.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Have a good morning. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone. All right.